Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we are talking about Orlog, Assassin's Creed Valhalla dice game. So this is published by Ubisoft, but it is also distributed by Hatchet.
All right, so I'm not a huge video gamer.
Yeah.
Right? I spend a lot of my time playing board games. But one video game that I think has not escaped all of our attention is the Assassin's Creed series of games. You hear this talked about all the time.
It's checked out all the time. We have video games at the library, and I am always checking this game out. All the different variations of it. It's just like, it's really popular.
All right, so one of the variations which I caught my eye was the Valhalla, which is obviously kind of a Viking theme. So there's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But within that game is a dice game, and that dice game is called Orlog. So Ubisoft...
Game within a game.
This is a little reference there for you. Hope you caught it. All right, so yeah, this is a very meta game, right? This is the dice game that was made because of the digital dice game that's in the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. All right, so if you've played that game, you've probably heard of this and probably know a little bit about it. So yeah, let me show you how to play. All right, here's our setup for Orlog. Each player is going to get their own kind of a dice tray there. They have 15 health tokens and their own set of custom dice. There's also a shared pool of the coins there. Then each player is also going to get some god tiles as well. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to flip that coin to see who's going to go first. What's going to happen is the first player is going to roll their dice. They're going to choose which ones they want to keep and which ones they want to re-roll. So maybe we like this one, we're going to lock that in. And then the next player is going to roll their dice over here. We have a chance to roll 3 times each, kind of going back and forth, reacting to each other's rolls until we are happy with what we've rolled. So first off, we have this symbol here. This is an axe. This axe symbol is going to do damage to the other player. However, it can be blocked by that symbol there, that helmet. Then we have an arrow symbol. It's kind of like a ranged attack. That can be blocked by that shield symbol. Even though one player is the first player, the other player is the second player, attacks and defense are going to kind of go both ways at each other. The last symbol that we're going to see is this hand symbol right here. What that hand symbol is the ability to steal coins from the other player. Also, speaking of coins, any of these symbols on these dice might have this gold ring around them. If you have a gold ring around your die, for every one of those you see, you get to take one of the coins from the resources. If your opponent ever rolls either the axe or the arrow, and you don't have the proper shield to block it, you're going to lose one of your health tokens for each one of those damages that you take. And that's really the point of the game. You're trying to be the person who's able to survive the longest. So you're trying to take their health down to 0 while keeping yours intact. But by itself, that's not a very exciting game. So to add some twists, we have these god tiles. There's a total of 20 of them, and all of them do special abilities. Basically what's going to happen is they're going to say something like this. This is kind of hard to read here, but this particular one says, you can remove shields, the helmets, from your opponent. And then it has some series of costs and how many shields you're able to remove with that symbol. That particular font on that particular background is kind of hard to read. However, there also is kind of a cheat sheet that has them a little more clearly and has them all on this one page, so that we kind of see them at a glance. All of them have 3 costs, kind of like an easy, a medium, and a hard. Basically, the more money you spend in order to make that ability happen, the stronger its effect is going to be. There's a lot of different effects. Maybe by spending money you can gain extra money, or maybe you can kind of re-roll things, or maybe you can use extra dice, or do some extra damage, or prevent damage from happening. There's all different kinds of ways that you can use these god tiles in order to manipulate the other player or your own dice. Well, how do you know which god tiles to use? Well, there's kind of 3 modes of the game. There's the beginner mode. In that case, it kind of tells you which ones to use. It's Thor's Strike, Idun's Rejuvenation, and Odin's Sacrifice. So you use those particular guide tiles. Basically, it's kind of a basic setup, a little bit of healing, kind of some ramping up. Basically, everyone has the exact same setup. The next mode is called the casual mode. This one's the actual one that's the most like playing the original Orlog from the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game. Basically, each team is going to have 20 of those god tiles, and before the game starts, you're going to select any 3 of them you want. So basically, the more you play, the more you'll have experience with each different god tiles, and you can kind of try to customize and find 3 that work all together and have a little bit of a synergy. The third mode is called the expert mode, and in that basically you are going to kind of draft back and forth, choosing ones throughout the game, and once they've been chosen, they are no longer available. So you're drafting from one common pool of god tiles instead of each having your own. So that way it makes sure that no one has the exact same thing. That one's a little more challenging. It's a little bit longer as well. That's kind of more for someone who's really sink their teeth into Orlog. But no matter what your mode of play is, you're going to be rolling dice, trying to knock out the other player's health as fast as possible, collecting coins, enacting your god tiles abilities in order to be the last person standing.
I really liked how simple this game was, right? Like, you're just rolling the dice, they're rolling the dice, but how much there is in there. Like, you're trying to guess what they're going to do based on what they have, based on their god tiles, your god tiles, because you know what each other has, you know what we can do, and so you're just trying to manipulate, but you're also trying to get in that person's head to see how they're going to manipulate, so you can out-manipulate their manipulation to win.
No wonder you're just all about manipulation.
Whatever, you know that's not true.
I don't think I've won this game yet. She just manipulates me. All
Only in the game, not in real life.
I like how this game is all about looking for those combos, right? So there's 20 of these. Each player has 20 of these god tiles, and they all do very different things. And just hunting for those combos as you're playing, it can be really, really fun. There's 3 different ways to play, by the way. There's like a beginner mode where they kind of tell you what to play. Then there's what they call the casual mode where everyone just kind of gets to select their own. That's when we played the most of, just because we were exploring it, trying to see what all the different gods did. And then there's like an expert mode. That one's the trickiest one. That's where you're kind of drafting them back and forth, and each round you kind of use different ones. That's the longest version of the game. It's the most strategic of the games, or the versions of the game as well. But I think I find myself enjoying the casual mode the most. That way you can kind of cultivate your own custom set and try to find those combos, which I really enjoyed. Also, the component quality in this game was actually pretty great. Each player gets their own custom little dice tray that they can roll in, which is really nice. The dice themselves were custom, and they had this cool color to them, kind of evocative of the theme. Even like the health, your health in this game was just these really nice, these green stones that were all just the custom dice custom cut with all polished and everything. Just the component quality itself was phenomenal in this game. I really enjoyed it, and even the insert fit everything perfectly.
Yeah, except when it came to the text on the god tiles. Oh my gosh! Like the text that the card print, like the color print, with the tiny text on top of it did not go together. They blended too well, and you're just going like this all the time, like, what's going on there? Well, I mean, they have that cheat sheet, so you can look at all the god tiles and what they do, but even with that cheat sheet, all the god tiles look so similar. So similar. It is like really difficult to read that and figure out what's happening, which is like, there's just so many questions. So many questions when we were playing this game.
I agree. This is kind of where this game fell apart for me. With the rule book. The rule book was only 4 pages. It's very easy to read, very easy to learn, but it's almost too easy, too boiled down, too simplified to where there needed to be more rules explanations, because there's certain circumstances where there's just 20 of these god tiles that interact in all kinds of different ways, and the way they interact, it's not always clear how it should come about. I was reading some stuff online and just trying to find some clarity, and just everyone was like disagreeing.
Asking the same questions.
They're all asking the same questions, and then they were just
interpreting it differently.
Exactly, house ruling stuff, just because they needed to find a way to get through the game that they were in the middle of.
And I'm sure in the video game, all that coding is there. That coding just needed to be written down.
Right, because when you're playing it digitally, within Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like when you make a choice and you do an action, the coding's there. Like you said, a result pops out. So it's all there. The rules exist in digital form somehow within the coding of the game, the video game. They just were not put in text form in a clear enough way to where we as players could intuitively know how to play this game.
So I just want to brag on a different game for half a second. So in Sorcerer City, you have to draft all of these like muster tiles, and they all have very unique abilities, and sometimes the abilities seem to conflict with another, and they have this this appendix or whatever at the end of the rule books that basically every single weird combination that could ever happen is explained to you. So when something like that weird happens, you look in the back, answer, done. And this game needed something like that. I mean, it could have just even been a QR code that you scanned if you didn't want to print anything like that, and it could take you to an extended Q&A with how the god tiles interact with each other, but it needed something. Like, I wanted to like this game. Like, in the first set when we were just starting to play, I was like, I like this game. But as soon as that first question happened and it wasn't able to be answered,
yeah, I agree. You've seen an FAQ, a link to something on BGG, like I said, a QR code to a website, who knows what, something to help us out. So that definitely detracted from our enjoyment of this game, was just being able to kind of sort out the rules. All that being said, I did enjoy it. It was a fun game. I had this kind of this Yahtzee battle style thing going on.
Yahtzee battle. Oh my gosh. This game is Yahtzee battle.
And be able to react to one another by rolling after one another and taking turns. All that was really enjoyable. The god tiles were strong and they were cool as you were kind of building up your money to spend it all on things. It was unclear all the different rule variations that could have come about as a result of these tiles interacting, and that made this game very challenging for us to be able to, first of all, want to come back to play, and even to be able to come back and play on a regular basis.
With that said, I feel like if you are a fan of the game, and especially the game within a game, that you would be interested in this, because all of that coding is probably already in your head.
Yeah,
you would know the answers to all that stuff that we're trying to seek out, and if you want that physical version, I feel like you would really enjoy this.
Yeah, you guys, very interesting concept. We had a lot of fun with it, but also, I don't know, help us with the rules, please.
Thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.